What's up, everybody? Welcome to Flux Harmonic. I'm David Wilson, and we're back again today with another instance of doing our live coding of the entry for the GitHub GameOff 2022 competition. I'm trying to get the volume turned down a little bit here. So we've been working for the last few weeks because this is a month-long game jam that is put on by GitHub, and basically you get to write whatever game you want within a very broad theme for the course of the month. And the theme this time is cliches. So the idea is that you pick any cliche that you like and you can try to make a game out of it. It doesn't have to literally implement the cliche, it just has to be inspired by a cliche. Personally, I felt that that was a little bit too broad of an idea because it just lets you come up with whatever concept you want. And it's a little bit more fun whenever you get to come up with something in a more narrow scope. So, I don't know, I think after this experience, I would prefer to just do weekend-long game jams. Maybe I'll just stick to the Ludum Dare and maybe other similar jams, like maybe like a week-long jam instead. I wish I could have done the Lisp game jam this year, but it coincided with this one as well. So, so basically, by the end of this, I'm sort of feeling like maybe it was too long, too many weekends or too much time to work on a project, so the scope gets a little bit too big. And I wanted to go a lot further than the previous times, but we ended up getting blocked on some technical issues with Mesh, the schema implementation I've been working on, and other just, scope issues for the game. So, I'm happy that we spent the time doing this. But, we'll see how the result looks in the end. Hello to Alejandro and to Robert. Thank you both for being here. I appreciate it. So, let's see. So where we were last time is that we managed to get a basic zone of the game implemented at a very, very basic level by creating a series of text files that contain the level data. So if I go into the assets folder of the game and go to the screens folder, you'll see there's a bunch of little files called piece 11, 12, etc. And these are all just data files that are in a simple text-based format. And if you look at them, you just see that it's a file with the name of the room, basically the screen, the size, the background color, the data for all the tiles that are on display on the screen, and then the portals that allow you to walk from one screen to another. So we got that working. We also got basic level editing working, and we also got the platformer jumping mechanics working a bit better because we had some bugs there. So a few different things we got working, which felt pretty good to make some progress on. But we still didn't make a whole lot of progress. That's fine. Whatever. It is what it is. With these things, you can't really predict how far you'll be able to get, especially if you have to do major improvements to the tools you're using while you're working on your entry, which I did. I had to, what did I do in the end? I think I rewrote the parser of Mesh this month to implement an actual reader, and then I had to write the whole IO system so that you have ports that you can open files for loading and saving. Also re-implemented REPLs. So today we'll do a little bit of work with the Mesh REPL and hopefully get something working. I mean, it is working, but you can't redefine functions live. You can redefine functions, but they don't get picked up if they've been imported into another module. So that's one thing we'll look at in a second. And I want to get the Geyser integration working a little bit better. Geyser is a package for Emacs that allows you to pull in scheme implementations into a REPL/IDE type environment. And it turns out it's not too hard to integrate a scheme implementation into Geyser, but it does take a little bit of work. And what I've done so far is not fully working. So we'll take a look at that as well to see how far we can get. But I don't know, it's been fun for me to just hack on Mesh a lot over this month, and my plan going forward after this is to focus on improving the language and tools a lot before the next Ludum Dare game jam that I do, which would be in April or May, I think. Mainly because I want to make sure that everything's going to go really well, and we also don't have to spend time writing up a bunch of these tools that I'm doing live. I'd rather just spend time working on game code and not on, platform code or game engine library code. So I'm going to do a lot of work to get all that stuff polished up, Hopefully before then, I'll also get mesh ported to Emscripten so that I can make web builds of the game so that whenever I push changes to the repository, those changes will go live on a website and you can actually go play it. So definitely want to have a few of those things done before the next game jam. And it's very motivating for me because I feel like this is a great way to sort of develop a language and a tool set, just making it so that other people can try it out and having specific goals and timelines to drive prioritization for what I do next. So that's been a lot of fun for that purpose. All right, so let's see. I'll just run the game really quickly. Not many people are here yet, so I'll run it anyway so the people who are here can see where we were the last time. So we just have a basic platformer here. You can walk around, you can jump over the obstacles. You can't really walk through walls or jump over walls. There's a little bit of a bug there still, but we won't have time to look into that probably. And then you can walk between screens. So the whole world will be comprised of a series of connected screens. So you'd be able to walk between them. Just trying to see how it looks on the feed here. Yeah, the frames per second are a lot smoother on my machine than they are on the stream. I need to get 60 FPS streaming hooked up because that would make things look a lot better. But that's for another time. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with the fact that this all works for now. It seems to be fairly efficient. We don't have tile graphics in quite yet because I had some issues with the renderer, which is another thing I need to rewrite completely pretty soon. But all that's going to be really fun. And having the REPL hooked up now will actually make it a lot easier to do that because I can prototype things a lot faster without having to do a whole recompile loop. So off stream pretty soon, I'll be having a lot of fun rewriting the renderer to be not so much written in C, but written more in Mesh. My plan is to write a more direct binding to OpenGL in Mesh so that in the level of Mesh, I could directly manipulate OpenGL and do things like allocate vertex buffers, vertex arrays, and then populate them with data, hopefully with an efficient way to do that so that it isn't super slow, but also to make it so that I can have more control over like which types of objects get rendered together so that I can do it more efficiently. Like right now, we're rendering this whole screen of squares every frame. Ideally, what it would be is that we're not rendering each individual square. We've actually got a mesh for the entire thing, like a whole geometry for the whole screen where there's just a bunch of rectangles that are one sort of unit. And then the GPU could just render that whole thing itself using texture coordinates to know, or even colors to know what the individual tile should look like. And I can't do that right now because I don't have my current renderer set up to do it. But if I have the OpenGL APIs, or at least some simplification of those exposed in Mesh, then I'll have more control and be able to write those things directly. So I think that would be a lot better whenever I have all that set up. All right, so let's take a look at what I've done so far with the REPL. Since it actually does work, I'm pretty happy with how it's working. In fact, it would be nice if more people were here to see it because it's kind of cool, but I'll show you guys who are here at any rate. So what I did, let's see, REPL. No, this is the wrong folder. Deps, meshlang, mesh. If I'm in this folder, I can go to REPL.c first, because originally I had a REPL that was written in C, because Mesh itself, the underlying language compiler, VM, etc., all written in C. But I had a REPL implementation written in C also, which is not super complicated. It's not that many lines of code, but it did the job for the time. But I never really used it that much because I think I had not implemented some of the things that were necessary to use it well, like an integration with Emacs for REPL, or even a lost my train of thought for a second, or the ability to redefine functions that are defined in a module, which may be imported somewhere. Because if you think about it, if you have a module, you define a function in the module and export it so that some other module can import it. If they import that function object directly, then if you reevaluate the same function inside that module, they don't get the new version because they're holding on to a copy of the old function. So the way that you deal with this in Scheme, at least, maybe in Lisp also, well, maybe not in Lisp, but in Scheme, is you have to introduce another abstraction called either a variable or a binding, where it's almost like a little placeholder that gets exported from the module instead of the object itself. And then you have to, whenever you import the function from the module, you're getting a pointer to that placeholder, which has a pointer to the function rather than just getting the function directly. So in the module, when you reevaluate the function, it just replaces that pointer inside the placeholder, which somebody else already has a handle on. And that way, they can continue calling that function in real time and get the new version of it and keep running, basically. So the goal with the game code would be I should be able to reevaluate a function in any module of the game code or in the engine code, and then have the game automatically pick that up so that, you know, rendering changes or movement behavior, all that stuff immediately goes into effect as soon as I reevaluate the function. So we're going to try to implement that a little bit. I figure if we're not going to get a game finished anyway, we might as well spend some time making the interactive development part of this work better. So that's what I'll be doing today. And if we do get that working, then we'll start using it and trying to get into the habit of using it to tweak behavior on the fly, because it would be nice to see that working, I think. Okie dokie. So let me show you the REPL actually first before we get too far into it. I'm going to jump into vterm really quickly. And since I've got this hooked up in the game, you can just run bin/dev/stones. And you'll see there's a REPL prompt that shows up, but there's also like output from the game that gets printed at the same time. You can actually type in stuff to get REPL output though. So if I were to type in, where am I? Right here. +2, 3, press enter, it's going to give me 5, and the prompt comes back again. But the game is still running. And the reason why this works, let's try this. Display hello. And it writes hello, we get the prompt again. The reason why this works is because I'm not just blocking on input at the console. I'm actually using some API functions from Linux, I guess, for polling for when the standard input has new input. And I've exposed that up through the APIs of Mesh so that you can ask for when a character is available on standard input. And inside my actual new REPL implementation, which is written in Mesh itself, you can see I have two versions of the REPL. One is the normal REPL, right here is start REPL. It goes into the REPL loop function, and this just runs read eval print on the current input port, which is standard in. And that function just reads the next syntax from the port, and it blocks on the port. This is the synchronous version. It compiles the syntax that comes out from the port. So like it reads in the input from the user, it turns it into a syntax tree effectively, runs it through the compiler. The compiler, if it does compile it correctly, it returns a function, and we check to see if that result is a function, and then we execute the function and display it. So just plain old read eval print loop. You read the syntax from the port, you compile it, then you eval it by running the function, then you print the result, and then you loop by calling REPL loop again. So the most literal implementation of a REPL, but that's really all you need. Now for the asynchronous version, I'm actually using delimited continuations, which is kind of cool, actually. I had implemented delimited continuations in Mesh maybe 2 or 3 months ago, mainly because I wanted continuations, and I thought that it would be pretty fun to implement, and it was pretty fun to implement, but it did require a lot of slamming my head against the wall before it all worked. But if you don't know sort of the difference between delimited and undelimited continuations, an undelimited continuation is like call with current continuation or call CC, which you hear about a lot in Scheme. What this does is it creates a function that you can invoke to get back to any point in the call stack that you're at currently. So you get into a function, you say call CC, and then it gives you a function that you can call to get right back to that current location, and also insert a value into that location. So you can sort of return a value to it and then continue. The problem with undelimited continuations is that it's like the entire call stack up to that point, and it's kind of weird sometimes having to figure out how to properly manage the continuation. So some people invented something called delimited continuations, where at a certain point in the call stack, you could say, okay, here's the point at which I would like to start a continuation. And then you continue going into the call stack, and then you do something called shift or something. And because there's multiple ways to describe it. And then you sort of take a slice of the call stack, but you don't take the whole thing. You only take a sort of a subset of the call stack. And then whenever you get that continuation function, anytime you call it, it actually reifies only that slice of the call stack that you put into that sort of that range. And you can reify it on top of the existing call stack. So this is why people say that delimited continuations are more composable, because you can just apply a delimited continuation call stack on top of another call stack instead of replacing the entire stack with the undelimited continuation stack. I might not be 100% right about that, but I think that that's the way it works. At least in my case, this is what's happening in Mesh. So to put that in context, in start REPL async, what we do is print the prompt first, then I call reset, and reset is what creates that first like marker in the call stack to say, at this point, I want to start a delimited continuation context. And then inside the code that gets executed after, which is basically what's in this Lambda function, we can just continue executing whatever we want until the point where we're ready to say, okay, now return a continuation so that can be called later to continue the evaluation of this whatever code is executing right now. So we use reset to set the continuation context, and then we go into a loop to read individual characters from standard input, but we're not blocking. We're actually using this care ready function to check the standard in port to see if there's a character available. If there's a character available, we read that character and we write it to sort of like an internal buffer, because we can't just execute everything immediately. We have to take all the characters and put them into a string so that can then be parsed and evaluated. So we do that until we run into a new line. And then we finally call read-eval print, where we basically take the output string of the buffer we've been creating and turn it into an input string, sort of like the scheme ports that we're dealing with here. And then we pass that into read-eval print, and then that does the whole parsing, compilation, evaluation, etc. And then we, excuse me, then we print the prompt, and we can continue the loop. But the way that we do continue the loop is, well, we call the loop function to go back to the top of the loop, but at this point we've already taken care of the character that was ready. So now this care ready returns false, and we jump down to the false case here, which is to call shift. And shift is the thing that's going to create that continuation function. Whenever you call shift, it is a lambda. It executes a lambda that takes a parameter, which is the continuation function, which is called k, which is pretty common with continuation code. We return that continuation. So at this point, we're basically packaging up the call stack from reset up to shift into an object and making it executable with this k function here. And then we're returning it back from this start REPL async function. Now, whoever called start REPL async now has a function that they can call to then check for more input on the REPL. So to see this, how it's used in practice, if I go to the main code of the game, main.msc, right here in the top of the main code, I call start REPL async with the current input port, and it gives me that function back. So I'm storing that as poll REPL. And then inside of the update function for the game, the main updater function, I check to see if I have a REPL function, because maybe I don't have one. Maybe this is a release build of the game. I don't want to start the REPL. And if I have one, I just call poll REPL, and I pass in true because I want it to continue running. This is my own sort of value that I'm passing in. And then every time we loop through a tick of the game loop, we're calling poll REPL. And if during calling that function, if there's enough input to execute an expression, that will happen. And then we'll just continue polling until we have another input to execute. So that's basically how it works. We're using delimited continuations to do basically an asynchronous or polled REPL. That plus having access to input stream polling to make sure that there's a character before we try to block on a read. So that was pretty fun to write. I'm actually really happy with how it turned out, because it took a lot of different things that I've been working on recently to make this possible. So I feel like this is a good example of how far things have come recently where I can actually write a real thing that that operates the way that I expect it to. The only one little bug that I ran into, which may not be a bug, it may actually be how things work, is that if you continue to just invoke that same function that you got the first time, which is something you should be able to do with a delimited continuation, what I noticed is that this string object would never get replaced with a new version of it. So I had to make this clear output string function to clear the string, but I shouldn't have had to do that, I think. If I were to set the value of string, which is a binding that's here in this loop, if I had used set exclamation point to set the value of that, I would expect that the next time someone calls a continuation, that value would be updated since the last time it was called. But I think it's because of the way I'm storing the call stack and the value stack at the point when the continuation is created, that part is not being updated whenever I set the value. So I might need to think about that a little bit more to make it more robust, but at least for now, it's enough to be able to get the whole algorithm working. So I think we can live with it for now, unless it becomes a real problem, then I'll have to figure out a way to fix it. But at least for now, it's fine. I see the stream doing some funny things in OBS. Hopefully it's still working okay. Probably dropping some frames here and there. All right, so that's basically how the REPL works now. Hopefully that wasn't too boring, but it's exciting for me, so that's why I kind of wanted to talk about it. Let's see. So now that we've got the REPL working, I've also been working on the mesh.el package and the geyser mesh.el package. So I had started working on this stuff a while back. Nothing really that interesting in this file. I was trying to use transient to make an interface for running the compiler to make it quicker to be able to recompile a project and whatnot. But I never really got too far. It doesn't really work, but I kept the code around because of that. The more interesting thing is in the geyser mesh.el file, which is where I'm trying to hook into the geyser package to, in fact, let me just put in a require geyser here to make it possible to have a REPL in Emacs that we can do some interesting things with, because geyser has some really nice features for working with scheme-based languages, especially around reevaluating functions that are defined in a module. There's a lot of functions that you can set up in your geyser implementation for a language to do things like find the current module in the file that the person is evaluating, and how you can enter a module with a command, or even do imports. I think listing modules is something that you can do as well, but there's a lot of functions here that I will have to implement to have the full behavior of geyser, but apparently you don't have to do all of them. But I have to get enough of it working so that geyser works at least well enough to use for interactive development. Alejandro says, the REPL is still not an upstream repository, is it? It is in, let's see, codeberg.org. So I'm switching to Codeberg, I think, for some of my projects, mesh included. So if you want to check it out, it is on GitHub also, the update, but Codeberg is the place where this stuff is primarily now. So in the commits here, you can see that there is the commit yesterday for implement start REPL async. So it is there. It's on GitHub too. So codeberg.org/mesh/mesh, and you can find it there. Okay, so let's eval this buffer. And I think I need to change the path. I've got a hard-coded path somewhere to where mesh is. Let me eval this buffer too. What do I have it here? Yeah, that's a terribly hard-coded path. I'm gonna run, what is it? Run mesh. I don't think that's the right one. Okay, let me reeval the geyser mesh buffer, because I think that sort of new mesh REPL. I think that's right. So if I hit that, oh, no prompt found. No such file or directory. Okay. Let's see. Why not? Projects code. Oh, wow. Okay, it's got an old value in there. So let's go back to mesh.el. That's right. I think I know why that happened. Yeah, this is the geyser mesh REPL. Can I reload this? Geyser restart REPL. Okay, so you can see we actually do have a REPL here. Hey, Judy Dev, nice to see you. So I think I could type in commands here. Whoa. I think it locked up a little bit here. Yeah, okay. There's something wrong with how I'm doing stuff. So this is what I want to spend some time on right now to see if we can make this work. So one of the things I know for sure is that I think the way that I'm implementing this Marshall procedure function is not right, because I sort of copied and pasted it from one of the other Geyser implementations. So let's take a look at this really quickly to see if we can understand what is going on. So it's using CL case to look at what the procedure is. And I think sort of the understanding I have here is that Geyser has a few different types of commands it wants you to be able to support in your scheme implementation. And this is a case that is looking for those. So this is eval or compile, and it's calling map concat identity cdr args. So it must be just like the list of, let me pull up the messages buffer because we have this here. Eval args, so false Geyser add to load path, and then the string for the load path, which I think Geyser is automatically trying to add the current folder as part of the load path in the scheme implementation. So let me see. Add to load path. Yeah, I wonder why I'm not seeing that. Like, it's just automatically trying to run a Geyser add to load path. Before that, I think what we need is to have a, let's see, geyser.msc file, because you need to have some glue between Geyser and your scheme implementation, and what they want you to do is basically have a file that you can load up at the beginning of when it starts REPL. So let me see how we can do that. On GitLab, there is the Geyser org. And we can take a look at some of the other implementations and see what they do. Can I set dark mode on this thing without having to log in? That's annoying. Dark. No. So then if I jump to, let's see, maybe Geyser Chibi. Let's see. Source/Geyser. Yeah, they have their own little module for that. Geyser : add. Okay, where is their add to load path? Interesting that it didn't get invoked for them. Completions. Another one I was looking at was SD close. I don't know if that's the way you pronounce that. Let's see, they have an add to load path. Okay, they do have one. This may be the place where I nicked it from. Where is it? Ah. Load path, cons path, load path. Interesting how they do that. So where is that add to load path? Why is it showing up here? It seems kind of weird. I see. All right, so at the true case of the case, they're just passing along the name of the operation directly. So if we were to write that Geyser add to load path, we should be able to eval that. But we need a function like that. So if I were to load this up, Geyser add, come on now, this is not a scheme buffer. Why are you doing that? Add to load path. Maybe I do have colon support for symbols. I don't know why it's not happy with that here. Maybe I'll define the module also. Define module mesh Geyser. I don't know, just to have it be a module. And then, probably this is the problem. Define Geyser add to load path, and then path. I do have an add to load path function. So that would just pass right through. Should be fine. Display. Let's not do that. So we could have that, but I also need to find out how to get it to load my file at startup. So load file. Let's see about, there's some kind of startup function, I think, in Geyser. So, cool. Binary parameters. I could do parameters, I suppose. REPL startup. I think that's what it is. I think I stole this from the MIT implementation. So let's go take a look at that one instead, maybe. MIT. So then in this one, startup, the startup function, let's see, Geyser log verbose, compilation setup T. I see. Geyser eval send wait. Okay, so I could use this function to tell it to load up that file. So, whoops. Geyser MIT source directory. That's nice. All right, so let's try this. We'll have a startup function, Geyser mesh startup. And then, does that take a parameter? Remote. Maybe I should put that there. So I can call Geyser eval send wait and just send it whatever line I want. But in this case, I want to do basically the same thing they're doing here, which is format load file. So yeah, let's have some quoted. There we go. And I need to eval, what is it, expand file path? Is that right? Or is it expand file name? Yeah, expand file name. What is it? Geyser.msc. And the path would be the Geyser mesh. Oops, Geyser mesh source directory. But I got a feeling that's not actually provided, so source directory. Oh, you have to actually tell it what the path is? That's not fun. How are everyone else dealing with this? Because this seems like it would be a pretty fundamental problem to solve. What about Gambit? Since I have some familiarity with this one. Source Geyser, Geyser Gambit.el. Geyser Gambit. All right, Gambit. Load path. Oh, a init file. Okay. So init file. Let's just look at how that gets used. What? I see. Maybe that's something that Geyser sort of knows about and it will use automatically. Load init. Weird. How about REPL startup? Gambit startup. Yeah, where's the actual implementation? There you go. Compilation setup T. All right, so it's not loading anything. Load. Okay, cool. Load file, compile file. Interesting. So there is one for that. So maybe I should be looking at the Geyser manual. They don't really describe how this is supposed to work, though, I think. Do they? Let's do this anyway. We can just sort of hack it in for now. I'm not sure like the right way to make this work because I don't even really know which folder the package is going to be stored in. Maybe Geyser has a way of figuring that out though. Is there a way like library path? Locate library to show the precise file name. Locate library. That would be pretty useful. Geyser-mesh. Wrong argument type string p. What? Relative file name of a library, a string. Okay, fine. Any examples of this? Seems like this should work. Locate library. S. Oh, okay. Is it? I just need to take the EL off. No. What about? So we're saying this is Geyser mesh. You know, maybe it's because I don't have it set up in the load path. So add to load path. No. So projects, code. Oh, Jesus. GGO, man. I really don't want to type out this whole path. You know, let's skip that for now. We do need to do that though. I think that locate library could be the way to do that. So I'm just gonna leave a little to do for myself. Use locate library to find the path to this file. All right, so we can call load file geyser.msc. Geyser, nah, we'll hard code this for now. So def var geyser mesh source directory. Hard code it to the same path as what we have right here. Drop this in here. Okay. Tools, yeah. Mesh components, mesh Emacs. So if I were to eval that, and then eval this line, then it should give me geyser.msc, and that's geyser.msc. So now that should work. So geyser eval send wait, format load file. And I need to make sure that I have a closing paren on that so that it works. That should help, I think. So what if we were to run mesh now? Wait, I should go and re-eval this as well. So maybe we should just eval the whole buffer. End of file during parsing, check parens. What did I do wrong? Okay, well, somehow I missed that final parenthesis. Let's run check parens again. I think it's fine now. Okay, so eval buffer, and then run mesh. What am I seeing? What's going on here? It's doing nothing. I wonder if that initial function call is causing problems. I should probably take out all of these cases for now. Yeah, load file S. Let's do that. Geyser no values. I don't even know what that is. No values. Alejandro says, do you copy mesh as part of your local source tree for the project? Yeah, I make a compilation of it. I really need to set up the steps for this because it's kind of confusing what I'm doing right now. It needs to be a smoother process, but for now I'm doing it in a little bit of a weird way. I go into the the depths mesh laying mesh folder, and I set up the Geek shell first with this manifest file because you have to have all the dependencies. If you can install them yourself, that's fine too. Go into the scripts folder or run scripts/bootstrap.sh, which will build a bootstrap version of the mesh compiler, and it will put it in this tools/mesh directory. Once I have that, I copy that mesh directory down into the game and then put that into tools mesh, and then I use that for building the game itself and doing all this other stuff. Okay. So for some reason it keeps hanging. I don't like the fact that it hangs and doesn't really give you any indication of why there's a problem with the code. So let's reeval this function and then try to run mesh again. Yeah, it just keeps hanging every time I do that until I hit Control G and then it lets up. Let's see. Enter module, or module enter, is that what I called it? I want to see if module import mesh geyser. Okay, so it did get loaded, I think. What did I call that function? Geyser add to load path. Wow, what just happened? Undefined variable, and then it crashes. Well, it errors out. It shouldn't be erroring out like that. That's another thing I'll have to fix for REPL to make any sense, is the errors should not totally kill the session. Alejandro says, since you're using Geeks to run and test, would it be prudent to make a Geeks package for mesh so you could declare it in your manifest.scm? Maybe so. I want to be able to build mesh with mesh, which means adding a mesh build system to Geeks. I don't really know the right way to do that because in Geeks they want to bootstrap everything. So downloading a pre-existing binary doesn't make sense. But I guess if I were to compile mesh, I'd probably have to have just a makefile. But making a Geeks package would be helpful for at least building in Geeks so that you can get mesh easily and then maybe get updated versions of it. So yeah, I can see why you would want to do that. I'll consider it. Hey Benoit, nice to see you. Let's see. Yeah, it's not super simple, but I do want to have mesh in Geeks at some point, but mesh needs to stabilize a lot before I bother anybody with that. So obviously I could have my own channel too, but that might be something we do at some point in the future. I would like for people to use mesh, but for the reasons that you would use it, like, you know, writing games or applications or maybe personal tools and stuff. Guile is still a great option for everything else. Personal tools too, Guile is fine for that. All right, so I don't want to kill a lot of time with this. Let me think. Because it's not super clear how I'm supposed to do this correctly. I mean, I can look at other implementations all day and see how they do it, but it's not going to tell me why things are hanging for me. There's some kind of log that I can use, I think, for Geyser. Geyser, let's see. Go to buffers, Geyser log. There's also a Geyser log, toggle log verbose. Let's kill this buffer. Yes, kill it. Also the other Geyser buffer, let's kill that. Now let's run mesh again. I'm kind of curious if the log has anything in it for that moment that it kind of hung. So Geyser messages. Okay, info request 1, load file, blah, blah, blah. Is that double quote supposed to be there like that? It's too many quotes. Clearly it didn't kill mesh. I don't know exactly what's going on there or what it is waiting on. as a response. Is there some protocol for how calling functions are supposed to come back, I wonder? Let's take a look at another implementation. Load file, geyser load file. So let's go take a look at the actual, whoops, not that one. Source geyser gambit load file. Geyser capture output. What does that mean? Capture output. Gensim. Oh, so this was a macro. Open output string. Oh, interesting. Okay. So apparently there's a format, like a result and an output. I like that. That's cool, actually, because it gives you the ability to have output that might get printed to the user, but at the same time, you can have a result object that comes back. Yes, geyser REPL for mesh. That's right, Benoit. I'm trying to figure out how to hook it up correctly. So capture output. Who's using that? Okay, only for load file and eval. But nothing else. For completions, geyser autodoc. Make sure that, oh, I need to put stuff on loop here. Okay. String prefix. Not be part of Gambit to begin with. We're defining a filter function inline. Wow, okay. Sort list. All right, I don't want to be looking at all this stuff right now. This is too much nonsense, in my opinion. Not because the people who wrote it was nonsense. It's just like I'm not getting any value from what I'm seeing here. Back at the MIT implementation. Take a look at what they're doing inside here. Load.scm, what's that? Okay, maybe that's their init file. Load compile.scm. Okay. Then emacs.scm. What about load-file? Okay, load file names. They're not doing anything special in their output. There needs to be documentation for how you're supposed to hook the stuff up. There actually is geyser implementation help, but it's not super helpful in my opinion. So let's look at REPL startup. Function taking no parameters that is called after the REPL has been initialized. All geyser functionality is available to you at that point. So I think I need something before that. Let's see. What is CWD? Saw something there. Am I going crazy? I thought I saw the word CWD somewhere. Arg list. Okay. I mean, I don't know if I need to have a parameter to the REPL function where we can have a sort of an init file that gets loaded. That would be a way to pull in the. That's so loud. That geyser module. Binding forms. Okay. Interesting. Oh, I need to put an enter command in for sure. Okay, if I look at this function, does it actually help me? REPL enter command. So it's supposed to just return a string, I'm guessing. Let me just implement that really quickly because I think that's a useful thing to have. Module designator. I'm guessing that's a list of symbols. I hope so. So back in geyser mesh, is the enter command. Geyser mesh enter command. I don't know if this is a thing that is causing problems too. Like maybe it wants to figure out what module I'm in whenever it's. No, apparently I had written this already. Because the function I use for that is called module-enter. So that's all good. I also need a find module. I believe that's the next thing to implement for that. Find-module. Used to obtain the module for the current buffer. It takes an optional argument for cases where we want to force its value. So I'm guessing this is just a function. Find module. So get impl module. Okay, let's look at another implementation for that. I'm kind of curious what that looks like. Find-module. Get-module. Geyser syntax pop to top. What is that function? Okay, that's kind of an internal function with no documentation. That's great to see. Search for geyser MIT module regular expression. Geyser MIT get module. Match string no properties. All right, so this is a cond. If module is null here, okay, if it's a list, then it returns it directly, which makes sense because I think that this is supposed to be a list of symbols or something. If it's a string, also return it directly? No, condition case, okay. Geyser syntax read from string. Huh. What does this do? Let's see. Geyser syntax -- read. Oh, it's like parsing the string. Wow. So they're doing a minimal scheme parser inside of Emacs Lisp. Fine. Well, since I have basically scheme syntax, that makes things probably work the right way. All right, so then how about I try to do that really quickly? I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on all this, but I don't know what else we're going to do, I guess. So back at this implementation, I don't really know if I need to implement this sort of, you know, multiple. What is this :F doing? They really need to document this. Oh, normalize a module? Okay. I guess if it's a string, they want to be able to turn that into a list. Let me try this. I'm just curious what happens if I just run this function directly. Module mesh geyser. Cool. That's right. So that's what I would expect to see. I could sort of just steal this function then, and then massage it a little bit. Go back to geyser mesh. Geyser mesh get module. Now, I don't know what the syntax pop to top is, but maybe that makes sense to some degree. They also have their module-re. Where is it defined? Okay. So I could probably do that. So for me, it's define dash module, and then whatever's inside of the parens that follow. And that needs to be at the beginning of a line. I'll take the rest of this stuff out. I need to have this group, though, I think. I may need to do this. I'm not sure exactly. Wait, hold on. RE builder. Oh, whoops. How about this? Let's, hey, stop. Thank you. Where is the regex? There it is. Okay, so I'm going to go into the geyser.msc file because I have a defined module here. I can use RE builder. I can insert the string. So if I do that, it finds the geyser there. I wonder if this has to be like that. Okay, that might be it. I think that's group 1 or group whatever. So if we can get this whole string here, then you can use that and turn that into the actual module path in theory. So I could paste this in and then eval that. And let's see if I can write a function to find it. How about, let's see, get module. I could probably run that directly inside of the buffer. So if I can eval this, it should be fine. Syntax pop to top. Research backward. Mesh module regexp. Or forward. And then match string, no properties. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, makes sense. So it finds that string and then it runs it through this function again so that it can use this thing to convert it into a... Come on now. To a list. Okay, where does that come from? Geyser syntax.el. Apparently I need to pull that in here, I think. So syntax dash dash. Okay, got that now. I fixed this multiple M here. Hey, Red Nose Hacker, nice to see you. Thanks for dropping by. So let's see. That should be okay, I think. This whole thing might be okay. If I were to eval this function and then go back into this file, let's kill the regex builder. And if I were to also run geyser-mesh dash what is it? Get module with nil. Hey, mesh geyser. Okay, so it did find it. Let's find another module file too. Here, REPL. I'm gonna run that same function in this file. Oh, really? Should have found it here because it's mesh REPL. Oh, it's because I didn't follow it with a paren. Okay, that's a bad regex. Let's delete this. And re-eval the whole string, and then go back into this function, or this file. And now it's mesh REPL. Okay. So we're able to pull up a module name from a file. That's very important for Geyser. And if I were to go back to find module, I can change this to Geyser mesh get module. We also have the enter command set up. So with the module name, we can say module enter with that module name, which would work in mesh because that's how you enter a particular module. So that's good. We have some stuff here now that should work for that. I'll reeval the implementation and then let's try running the REPL again. All right, so it's definitely just choking completely until I hit Control G and then it wakes up. So it's waiting on something. Maybe it's waiting on that load file to execute. If I take the startup function out, it still does the same thing, I believe. Maybe I should be explicit about it. I don't know if it clears something. Let's see. This could be wrong. Okay, so it didn't hang in that case. It actually executed all the way. So maybe, oh, it did hang, actually. It's hard to tell. And it says it's been nice interacting with you. I wonder why it does that. Did the process crash or something? Let's go to the messages buffer. Info request, Geyser eval, Geyser add to load path. Okay, I don't have Geyser eval. So let's add that function. And Geyser eval is sending an actual S expression. So let's see. Define Geyser eval. And what is that going to be? Let's look at this one. So inside of the source Geyser, Geyser colon eval. Do you do that? Okay. Module form rest. Cool. That actually makes sense. And it seems eval does want this this format, which is what we saw in the Gambit implementation also. So eval module form dot rest. Well, let's just do a similar thing here. Module form dot rest. So output string package environment. Yeah, I don't have the ability to do environments like you should be able to do in Scheme just yet. So this may be a whole bust to begin with, but we'll see what we can do. Package environment, find package if module blah blah blah. Okay, so if module enter module, else module enter mesh user, I believe I call it. And then with output to port, eval form environment. So in my case, what is rest? Okay, so they don't really use that here. And I wonder if form is in S expression form or if it's a string. I guess form is, maybe they're making an S expression. I would probably just print that out. So display. I don't know if this is even going to work. Display form, display new line. Probably going to give me the wrong result. Or let's put that in the output string, maybe. So open output string for the output. Okay, so let output open output string. I do actually have that at least. I I think I have write string also. But display currently does not take a port. I may have to change that too. So if we eval something, so I don't actually, that's gonna suck actually. I can't write out a form to a string and then parse it back in because I don't have the ability to do that at the moment. So I really need to know what this eval, sorry, what the form is that it's giving me. And I can't do that without doing some more implementation of the write functions. Hi, Daniel. Having to think about this for just a second. See you, Red Nose Hacker. Thanks for dropping by. Okay, so the only thing that I don't really have at the moment here is the ability to take a form, which might be represented as a list of, you know, objects, symbols, strings, you know, etc. And then eval that. I don't even have an eval function. What I can do is read an input string into syntax objects and then pass that to the compiler and produce a function that can then be executed. So to make that work here, I would have to probably take the form they give me, write it out to a string, and then read that string back in to parse it, which seems like a whole lot of work to do for this purpose. But my compiler does not support at the moment it doesn't support taking normal lists and compiling them. What I could do is take a list and then convert it, just basically wrap it in blank syntax objects and then put that through the compiler. So that's something that could be done, but that is a little bit of a pain too. So not sure that I want to do that right now, but I do want to get this working. And the only way to get it working is to have geyser eval and geyser load file working, I think. I'm not sure what eval is actually for though, unless it's for calling specific functions inside of, well, actually let's find out. Where is that implementation, or is the help buffer? Okay, so let's go back. Eval. All right, marshal procedure. That's the one that I was sort of looking at. Function to translate a bare procedure symbol to one executable in the scheme context. Return null for unsupported ones. Oh, return null for unsupported ones. Maybe I can do that for now. At the very least, eval, compile, load file, and compile file should be supported. So the ones that I don't want to deal with right now. Geyser will also invoke if defined the following procedures, always wrapped in eval. Always wrapped in eval. Okay. With the current module as its context. So any of these things, even add to load path, apparently. So let me take a look at that implementation again for this function, see what they had done. So eval, they said that everything that it calls is wrapped in eval. So the form, oh, okay. So maybe the form we're actually turning into a string. That would be fantastic. So we get to choose how to do that, apparently. And then module, string equal empty list. Let's pull this back. Maybe we can actually do this. That would be nice. Geyser eval. S for the module. Yeah. Yeah. And then the form is what? A symbol? Ah, okay. So it does send it to eval as a map concat identity cdr args. I want this to be a string so I can parse it. Okay. So if it calls eval like that, we might be able to do something. That'd be pretty nice. Daniel says, how's it going today? Well, it's going pretty good. Hoping to make some progress here. We're not going to be having any kind of nice game output today, but we're going to make some progress writing the REPL implementation for Mesh so that we can do some live coding in the game while it's running without having to recompile all the time. All right. So just looking at this one more time. Cdr of args. What is the car of args? Doesn't say. And if I were to look at the messages buffer, I could see where it had a proc eval. Hash f is the first parameter for args, so we're getting cdr here. This is geyser add to load path. Yeah, this is kind of complicated, actually. What it wants to do is to send this as an actual list. But I want it to send as a string, which means I would have to escape any quotation marks or slashes. I suppose I could do that. I was hoping there was some kind of nice escaping function, but I mean, obviously just use like a regex for a string replace or something. So if I had this as a string, it's already a string, right? Geyser add to load path. Maybe I don't have to do anything, do I? So eval args, and this whole string is already a string. Maybe I should just send that directly. Geyser add to load path, and that's being generated by this last part, I think. Yeah. Okay, so maybe we can just send it directly and not have to process it at all. We can just give that a shot and see what happens. So cdr args. This is cdr, but you need to pull the car of that too. Map concat identity cdr args. Well, okay. Maybe it's necessary to concat multiple strings together, so we'll leave it as it is. And then form gets passed in. Ah. Why can't I just call the function directly instead of having to like wrap it in this other eval thing? Oh, because it wants to eval it in the context of a module. Okay. And it has its own output format that it wants to have. Let me see about that function, actually. Geyser eval, geyser procedure function, geyser procedure function. Let's see where that gets used. Apply. Geyser eval form. I wonder how widespread eval -- form is. Load file. Okay, so everything, like it said, everything's going through there. I don't know what GE is. Eval form compile. Geyser eval module. Okay, let's see. So if I look at this again, any of these things I can potentially override myself, it seems. So let's see, at the very least, blah, blah, blah. Geyser will also invoke if defined. The following procedures always wrapped in eval with the current module as its context. But we see, no. So these are the sort of the top level ones. And these all get invoked via eval. So Geyser eval. And the rest of these, I guess we could tell it how to format the call to it, but it doesn't, okay, I see. All right. All right. Not super easy to do on a stream. Even if we were to do this, it doesn't help us with the function replacing part of this. So we may have to go and do the mesh side implementation of that anyway. I wish I knew why it would hang. It must be doing this eval thing and it's like waiting on a result and it's not getting what it expects. And if I look at this code again, it's actually calling write to write out the result in an A list. And I don't have a write implementation that will actually write out a list correctly. So there's like a few things you would have to do to make this happen. Alejandro says, I know it's just temporary for the implementation. Yeah, I kind of feel like this is not going to work. I actually had been working on a simpler thing. So maybe what I should do is use my own custom REPL. Let me run this one. This is different. So run mesh. Run mesh is an obsolete command. Use Geyser mesh instead. Well, whatever. Anyway, I have my own REPL implementation, which is very, very, very basic. So we might be able to just do this ourselves for now. Because ultimately, all I really want is this. I want to eval a region or... Oh, it ate your previous comment? Oh, yeah. I've hard-coded the path to binary in mesh.el. Yes, I did. I know. I need to make it not hard-coded, but that's just for now. So eval a region or top-level expression in the context of a module, because that's what everything is. And we already figured out how to get the module name, so I think we might be able to just implement that ourselves really quickly. That would be much better, I think, just to have something working for now, and then I can continue the Geyser implementation in my own time. So how would I implement that? Usually what we see is eval region. So we could have a defun mesh eval region. Oh, I'm doing it scheme style, obviously. Message eval region. Let's see. Buffer string. Return to context of the current buffer substring. I can do this buffer substring point min point max, I think. If there's an active region. Ah, is that region? No, it's not point min, point max. It's region min, region max. Region min. No. Region. There's region end. What about the start point? View in manual. Region beginning, region end. Okay. So region beginning, region end. I wonder if there's like a specific value. Like if I were to look at region beginning, does it tell me? Return the integer value of pointer mark. Let's do this. Region beginning. 3683. Well, there's no region. Is it just the location of the point? 3683. 3649. Okay. Then region end. 3683. 3337. I don't know why. Maybe it's the previous mark or something. Let's see. Oh, that's end, not eng. All right, so Emacs, get current region. Oh, get region is string. Oh, that's a mark point. Gotcha. Buffer substring, no properties. We do want that. No properties, and then that's mark. Mark. Let's see. Mark. Still has a mark. Mark and point. Huh. So if I were to just run this, let's do this. Buffer substring, no properties. Region beginning. Jeez, let's just do it here where I typed it. Come on. I don't know why this is highlighted though, because I did not do that. Properties, region beginning, region end. Okay, I must have selected it at some point. Like, let's do the selection right here. Then, okay, weird. How about this? Eval region. Implemented in C, of course. Ah, okay, use region P. Okay. So what does eval region do? I wonder if, let's see, eval region. Into file during parsing. Eval region. Message. Let's see, buffer substring, no properties, region beginning, region end. Okay, apparently it does the same thing. So, yeah, sounds good. We can just do it that way. Eval region. I don't need to do eval buffer because evaling the buffer would do the right thing in mesh, I think. It will enter the module, so that's not a problem. And then we need to do eval What is it? No, not eval defun. All right, so let's see. C source code eval defun, eval the top level form containing point or after point. They must have some built-in function for selecting a defun. So let's see if I can find that. Defun. Mark defun. Put the mark at the end of this defun, point it at the beginning. So if I did this, mark defun, boom. All right, so if I go into some mesh code, MSC, if I go into REPL here, mark defun, it does it perfectly. Okay, so that's what we need. What I can do here is defun, mesh, eval, defun, and then let's see, message. Well, let's do this first. Save excursion, because we want to not affect the current selection and or pointer position and whatnot. Body here, we'll say message, eval, defun, and then let. I think it's, what was it we found? Mark. We need to do the mark first. Mark defun. Right? Why is it giving me a marker here? What? Okay, anyway. Then the same thing. Buffer substring, no properties. All right, let's see if we can do that here. Is that right? Okay. So then back in the mesh file, I can just run, I need to make that interactive actually. Interactive. And then back in the mesh file, I can run mesh eval defun. And then it, ooh, did it select the right thing? It doesn't look like it's the right thing. Messages. Okay, it did. It got it, but it didn't reset the selection though. I don't know why save excursion didn't help me there. Huh. Save excursion, save point and current buffer. Is there another function that restores the selection? Let's see. Oh, save mark and excursion. Okay, there we go. Oops, back in here, save mark and excursion. Then back here, I'll run mesh eval defun. There we go. Boom. That's the thing. So that will allow us to reevaluate a function very easily, which I could set up as a binding inside of mesh.el. Do I have a key map here? I think I have a mode though, mesh mode. So I can also set up a binding, define key, mesh mode map. Can't remember the exact syntax for this. Let's do Control F. Key map, key def. So KBD CMX, and the function would be mesh eval defun. Wrong argument. Emap. So is this not a symbol? Is this actually a variable? Okay, looks like a variable. I go back into REPL.msc, hit Control-Alt-X, then it prints the message that I expect to see because it's calling the function. Cool. So maybe this is the right thing to do for now. I can just eval defuns all day long. And to actually make this happen, I would have to send something to the REPL. I need to send it to the comment buffer that's currently active. And I can find it by name, because I have this mesh REPL here. Get buffer. Yeah, get buffer. All right. So let REPL buffer, get buffer. Let's store that name in a variable so that we're not cause ourselves problems. Def var mesh REPL buffer name. Okay, and then here we will use this instead. Mesh REPL buffer name. Reeval that function. Then here, get buffer mesh REPL buffer name. Can I do if let? Cool. What's wrong here? There we go. Why is this sticking out so far? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, how about check out if let. Spec then else. Oh. So it needs to be like a prog n. Pring. Prog n. There we go. Is the true path. Okay, so probably it's not necessary to have an else path. I could just sort of let it fall off. So REPL buffer, then switch to buffer. REPL buffer. And I need to send something in. So comment input, send input. Comment, send input. Where are we? Got too many things open. Comment, send input. So I think it's whatever the input that's currently typed in. Get old input, comment, input. Let's see what we can do here. Delete input. Okay, so I can delete the input and I can set the current input to the previous input at point. That's not what I expected that function to do. Comment input. Let's use what do you call it? Embark to export the list so I can take a look. Backward matching input, copy old input, delete input. I probably want, so I can switch the buffer, comment, delete input. Let's see. Kill input, next input, previous. I mean, do I just put insert maybe? Restore input, skip input, write input, ring. Maybe I just insert. Insert. We can just insert it for now and see what happens. I need to do this here though. Switch to the REPL buffer and delete existing input. Oh, so I need to not switch first. I need to switch after I do the copy of the input from the current buffer. So this mark defun and insert needs to happen before the if let. Let's just do a let star. I mean, what can I do here? And then mark defun. Whoa, what did I just do there? Okay, mark defun. I can put it right here first. And then grab that. Defun string. Call it defun string here. Paste that in. So that will grab that whole defun string from inside the buffer. That could even also be a prog in as well. I don't know if that's a smart thing to do, but we're going to do it. The mark defun there. Okay. We get the REPL buffer. If REPL buffer. Switch the buffer, delete the input, insert the new input, and then just leave it there. We won't send the input just yet. Oh, and also for the if, I need to do a prog in, I think. Okay, so now we should be able to see this working, hopefully. Oops, let's close this here. Go back to REPL.msc, run mesh eval defun. Look at that. Okay, so we got it in. And I was able to press enter myself and then have it be put in there. Let's try this again on a different one. I'm going to run mesh eval defun. So it did clear the input that I had randomly typed in there, and now I can run that. Okay. So we'll need to do two things. One of them being entering the module. I wonder if I can wrap that string in a begin. I think I can do a define inside of a begin. Yeah, I should be able to do that. So we need to create the function, right? Create the string by using format, begin, and we're going to use or %s, but also we need to use module enter to go into the correct module and then run that line of code or the defun. So we need to know what the module is first. We do have the way to grab that. We have that regular expression that we have put into the geyser function. So where was that? This geyser mesh get module. I might just copy this for now and simplify it here. All right, so get module for buffer. Get module current buffer. I don't know, that's terrible. All right, and we'll take this part out because we don't need that. I'll just make this really, really simple. I don't know about this pop to top either. I think that is not needed, at least in my case, for the simple case. We'll still use the save excursion. Get rid of this cond and some of the stuff that's inside of it. Is there not a way to turn... Is there like a read function? Read a string from the mini buffer. No, I don't want that. Reads one Lisp expression as text from stream, returns a Lisp object. What is this read from string doing? Oh yeah, we'll just use that. I mean, kind of need to at the moment anyway. So if I grab that, if or geyser mesh get module. Oh, this. Okay, match string, no properties. Let's delete everything up to this point, and then we can put that in here. Right there. So we're going to call geyser syntax read from string on the match. Otherwise return nil, I think. Yeah. So if we find that regexp somewhere in the file, and honestly, like, why aren't we going forward and backward? Why don't we just move the point to the top of the file and then search forward? I mean, I don't know why they do it this way. Doesn't make any sense to me. Point beginning, beginning of buffer. I think that's what it is, right? Can I call that? Let's see. Save excursion, beginning of buffer. Get rid of this, get rid of this. Oh no, don't do that. Okay, now clean it up. There we go. Beginning of buffer. Let's just look forward. There's no reason to look backward. Come on. Simplicity. All right, so we find it going forward with the regular expression. I want to copy this again because I screwed that up. Mesh module regular expression. All right, eval that. Eval that. Now if I go back into REPL.msc and run mesh -- get module current buffer, then it gives me mesh REPL. Okay. So now if I go back into eval defun, I should be able to use that here as well. Mesh -- get module current buffer, and maybe I should do this. Oh, module. Let's call it module. Okay. And then here, if module format module enter. No, actually, let's do it this way. If module, otherwise we say mesh user. Okay. That way we will put the module name in if necessary. So let's eval that, and if I go back into REPL.msc, I should be able to say mesh eval defun, and then what it puts in here, where is it? Oh, it put it in the wrong place. Begin module enter mesh REPL, and then, oh, it's got a string. Well, I don't want the string. I want it to be, okay, yeah, let's take that capital S, make it a normal lowercase s. I think that's, capital S is giving me the object, I think, object output format, which I do not want. Go back to REPL.msc, try it again, eval defun. This is turned into a huge mess. Wow, and then I hit Control C, and it broke it. So let's kill the REPL, run mesh, okay, and then I'm gonna run the same thing again, eval defun. All right, so begin module enter mesh REPL, which seems to be the right balance of parentheses, and then that seems to be right too. Okay, so let's just, okay, REPL loop. I wonder, oh yeah, and see now that we're in the mesh REPL module, which is good. So as a way to verify that this works, we can go into REPL.msc, change the prompt function. So let's say it works. Then I can run mesh eval defun, which I've got bound to control meta x. And it doesn't actually send it automatically. I have to press enter myself. Oh, undefined variable. Yeah, okay. It didn't put it in the right place. I think maybe I need to make sure the cursor goes to the end of the buffer. Comment prompt. Let's see. Comment BOL or process mark. Move the point to the beginning of the line after prompt. Let's try that. Before we do insert, we can say comment BOL and then do the insert just to make sure we put it in the right place. So I'm going to kill this buffer. I'm going to run mesh again. And then I will jump back to REPL.msc and eval defun. Okay, that seems like it's in the right place. Press enter. Interestingly, it doesn't actually seem to be printing out the new string. Oh. That's because I haven't implemented the other part of the behavior yet that's necessary to make this work. So the new version of the function has not yet shown up to the module that imported it because we're calling this function from somewhere else. That's okay though. That function is being called in the same module too. That's what's kind of weird about it. So maybe, let's see, print prompt. And I'm running this from, okay, yeah. So print prompt. It's being called inside a REPL loop. So this is all sort of inside the module itself. So reevaluating print prompt in theory should have replaced the previous. Yeah, we may have to look into that a little bit to see why, because I think this should have worked because print prompt is being called inside of the context of the module itself. So when you reevaluate it, it should have just shown up there for the functions inside the same module, because the module has its own scope effectively. All right, I might take a 2-minute break and then come back and start trying to understand why this is not working. And then we'll eventually get some game coding, because let's not, drag this on too long. It'd be nice to see some game stuff happening in a moment. But we may get there. We may get there pretty fast and then actually be able to do some live coding in the game. So anyway, I'll be back in 2 minutes, and then we'll be back into the coding here. So stick with me for just 2 minutes. Be right back. All right, we're back. Hello to Daniel. All right. So what we're doing now is trying to figure out why reevaluating a function doesn't cause the REPL prompt to actually get updated. Because we are able to at least get to the point where we can enter the correct module and then reevaluate the function, but it doesn't seem to be doing anything. Let's see, prompt. Okay, so interesting. Even if I run it myself, it doesn't seem to have updated the function. I wonder if define is doing that. So we're already in the let's see here. Let's copy this whole thing. We're already in the REPL. I could paste this in. Oh, okay. Interesting. So inside the define, it doesn't actually set it in the global scope. I wonder why not. So this actually did work. So I can type print prompt. So that's actually a simpler problem, I think. A begin at the top level, a define inside of a begin at the top level should be treated as a top level expression. Daniel says, I don't know much about coding. I've been self-teaching myself because there aren't many tutorials. There are many tutorials on the internet. It really just depends on what kind of coding you're looking to do. Okay, so if I were to go back and change it again, press enter. Specifically about Minecraft plugins, well, there should be a lot of those too. I'm not sure though. All right, so we can actually change certain functions and have their behavior be updated, but it seems like inside of a begin, it doesn't work. So if I were to try to do this now, let's try to put this in a begin, and whoa. All right. And in this case, I'm gonna go here and delete the stuff I put before. Okay, that's really strange. Is it because I did the module change before? Huh. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So if I were to go way back right here to module enter. Okay, so now it works. Okay. Let me just try to clean some things up here so I can understand what I'm looking at. For the begin, I will drop a new line so we can see how it... Oh, no, I can't. Maybe I can do a new line. No, let's not do a new line to start with. Space, module enter. Screw it. Let's not do the space. We'll just do a new line. All right, so module enter capital S/N, and then the actual code to be executed. All right. And then I can go back into, oh, let's in fact send the input too. So is it comment send input? No new line artificial. Okay. Let's try that. Comment send input. Let's do it directly. Comment send input. To run that, go back to REPL.msc, and then I'll use Control-Alt-X. Oh, okay, so it worked that time. Very interesting. I don't know why it didn't work the first time. Let's kill it and run it again. All right, so the REPL has got the normal output. I'm gonna use Control-Alt-X on this. So the first time, it doesn't do anything, right? I think I know why. All right, I'm gonna run it again. Okay. That's funny. I didn't think about that. So it seems that the first time I run it, the current context of the VM is not set to the module, even though I called module enter, and I'm not sure why that's the case. That's cool though, because we're pretty close. I think it's gonna work now. We might be able to do some live coding in the game with this. Let's see. Daniel says, do you know how you would change a player's data? I don't know if you're referring to Minecraft, but Control-Alt-X. In this case, Control-Alt-X is executing the code in the buffer. for live coding. Okay. Control-Alt-X is mostly, universally. I don't know. I'm trying to think why this would be happening. So mesh enter. Let's take a look at the code. Source VM module enter. Where is that? Enter module. Okay. So we set the current module to module. We resolved it by name first. Then we push the module onto the stack. So at this point, VM should already be set. Sorry, the current module should already be set in the VM. And then the, Is it because the compiler has already compiled that expression? I wonder how I can tell. So when it compiles the expression, at the time the module is not set. Either way, it's going to look up as a global. So it's going to call read global. It looks in the current module first. What is current module doing? Current module. Let's see. It's a macro frame. Oh, okay. Frame closure module. So maybe what I need to actually do is change the closure. Frame closure module. So it basically is the current function executing. We're executing the code within the context of that function. I don't know if I actually want that. And I don't know what's going to happen if I change that behavior now. So I must have done that for some reason. Yeah, maybe to access the module scope variables for where that function was defined. That does make sense. But I think the way that I've implemented modules is actually wrong. And I probably will have to change that at some point in the future to have the language work like Scheme should work. So that looks like a bug, actually. So if I were to do this without having to fix that problem, I wonder how I would go about it. Is there any way I could prioritize current module? That probably doesn't work. Damn. So the code that I'm sending in the REPL is a module enter. Maybe module enter should actually set the okay, all right. I'm kind of on board with the idea of doing this for now as a sort of a hack. I don't know if it's the right thing to do, but let's give it a shot. I'm gonna do this, enter module. Inside of this, I'm gonna set the module of the current frame also. But I'm gonna put a note here, or a to-do. This might cause unexpected behavior. You would only call enter module at the top level. Well, okay. In theory, in my assumption, you would only call enter module in the REPL or in the top level of some other module, which doesn't make any sense, or some other script file. So doing this is probably okay. So if I change that, this should work. Now, to make this all work again, I'm gonna have to recompile. I'm gonna have to bootstrap the compiler again. So let's go into deps, meshlang, mesh, run script, bootstrap.sh, and make sure that everything recompiled successfully. I think that's all fine. Those warnings I need to fix at some point. Now also mesh CLI bin path. Where do I have that? Mesh laying tools, mesh. All right, cool. That's the right path. So if I go back into mesh REPL, kill that, and then start it again, run mesh. Oh, great. I've compiled it with this string in there. That's fantastic. We can change this now. Let's see. It works. And then if I use Control-Alt-X, then it should be fine. Okay, so now we know we can re-eval a function in a particular module, and it's doing the right thing, which is great. Now we can actually try this out with, well, not exactly. We could sort of try it out, but it would only work inside of a current module at the moment until I do the variable abstraction. But we could probably see it working. That would be pretty cool. So how about that? So I'll change the REPL path. Should I do a directory local variable maybe? Directory variable, add directory local variable. That's gonna be mesh. Hey, oh, from mode. Can I say nil? Do that again. Whatever. Mesh mode. The variable will be for. Whoa, hey. I can't put any variable that I want. So is it mesh CLI bin path? Mesh CLI bin path. That's weird. All right. Okay. I'll make this nil. Okay. Now, inside this folder, it should automatically set everything to be... yep. I think that's right. No, that's not right. But I'll maybe set it myself anyway, so whatever. Mesh CLI bin path, and then paste it in. Gotta go get rid of that errant. Okay, now if I run mesh, it'll run the game in the REPL buffer with all the output getting sprayed everywhere, which I really don't want. Maybe I should find another way to do that. But you can see that the REPL should still work. So plus 3, 4 gives you 7. Okay, cool. And then, yes, apply it. Come on, leave me alone. So, Akates, sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Nice to see you here. Mixed C plus Guile coding for a game. This is actually my own scheme implementation called Mesh. But yeah, it's mixed C and Mesh or scheme coding for a game, for sure. What I'm working on right now is trying to get procedures to be redefinable while the game is running so that we can see some changes in the behavior. So let me go see if I can find something that we can test it out with. Where is my prompt? So modules, stones. Maybe something with a player. Let's see if I can change the color of the player. Yeah, it's fun to have my own implementation, but it's also very stressful because lots of things go wrong. So let's check this out. Let me try to set this color to something else. I don't know what this is going to look like, but I'm going to try to redefine this value and see if this little purple box here, which is the player, actually changes its color. Okay, it crashed. Question is why? Unterminated list found at line 2. So, oh, interesting. It sucked up the comment as well. Unterminated list? I don't see anything wrong with it. Okay, let's change what I did there. I'm gonna just open this up to its own line. And we'll run it again and see what happens. So run mesh. Okay, cool. Oh, well, the color has changed because I restarted the code, but let's see if we can put it back to what it was before. Uncomment that, save the file, use Control-Alt-X. All right, so it doesn't like something. What the hell? I think there's a mess in here. Let me get rid of the buffer and start a new one. All right, we're gonna run mesh again. What? I don't know what it's doing now. All right, could not open file modules main.msc. I think it's probably because it's not setting the current directory correctly. So I need to run it from the project root path. Can I do that? Is it a function? Project root? Yeah, okay, so project root. Oh, you project what, current? Okay. Project current. Yep. So don't know that I want to do that. Run mesh. Maybe I need to though. So to create one, root or working path. If project current, then project root, project current. I don't know if this is a little bit overreaching, but whatever. And then it's what, current directory. What is it called? Directory. Default directory. That's right. Okay, that's right. It also augment the name, I think. All right, so this should be fine. Why don't you like project root? Not known to be defined. Well, let's just wire project, I guess. Make sure that it's there. Okay, fine. Rerun that function, or redefine the function, I guess. And then go back to player.msc, run mesh. Give me a break. Whoa. Oh, I didn't actually set the thing right. So, let's do this. Default directory. I think that's going to work because this is a dynamic variable. So, all right, so let's run mesh. Okay, that worked. So now I'll try to run this again. I think it's gonna crash, but let's see what it does. Yeah, unterminated list. Found at line 2 of file. Oh, is it because of the new lines? It could be because of the new lines. Because the way that I'm doing the async REPL is that the first new line that I find, that sort of marks the end of an expression, but obviously that's not gonna work when I'm pasting in code from a file because there's gonna be new lines in there. So what I would have to do is be a bit smarter about identifying a whole expression. I think we're very close to this working, which would be really cool. So let's just stick with it a little while longer. I'm going to go back into REPL.msc. And basically what we have to do, which I'm not entirely crazy about, and frankly, I'm not sure if it's going to work correctly. Because of the way that the continuations are working. Send everything in one line just to check. Yeah, you know, maybe I should just replace all new lines with empty string. I wonder if that would break anything. If I can make sure I'm replacing non-escaped new lines. That's probably the easiest way to do it. So let's try that. Let's go back to mesh.el. And what is it? String replace string. Replace string. From string to string. String replace. String replace. Yes, that's the one. All right, so string replace, test new line foo. Probably should make that a space instead. So to string, oh, no, that's wrong. Let's grab this and then say new line. Make it a space. Cool, yeah, that's the right thing. So string replace. Where is that? If I try to insert the text, this defund string needs to be tweaked slightly. So we can do that here. String replace /in with space and then defund string. Okay. So if we go back to the REPL, kill that, go back to the game code, and then run the REPL. And then uncomment this line. Oh, yes. Kate's makes a very good point here. So if I use Control-Alt-X on this line, then it crashes again for some other reason. Undefined variable RGB. Now that shouldn't be the case, actually. Because in that module, we already have the RGB function imported. So that's something I didn't actually expect. Why would it think that it's undefined? Let's see. Yeah, it's coming from the renderer module. So in the context of this module, this binding should be there. Let's see. So if I go look at vm.c, read global, it looks for the locals of the current module where RGB should be defined. And the current module should be Stone's player by that point. Kind of weird. Just double check this, make sure I'm not wrong. Okay, it's Stone's player, that's the module. What other reason could it have for not actually being in the locals? because the module's already loaded. The locals are part of the module object. And this is the error line. So it's definitely not getting found. Maybe I should try actually entering the module. Let's try that out. That's probably a good thing to do. I'll kill the REPL. I'll run it again. Whoa, why are you doing it this time? Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Player.msc, run the REPL. Okay. Now inside the REPL, I'm going to module enter stones player RGB. Okay, so I'm in the module. I've entered the module myself in the REPL, and RGB is there. So RGB 255.00. So I'll bet if I go and do this myself, it will work. Define player color RGB GDB. RGB 255.00. Now it turns red. So we can see at least that doing things live works. So if you watch the little red square here, I can go back into the REPL and change that to RGB 0255.0 for green. And now the square turns green. So we can definitely reevaluate game code live. Whoa. That was weird. The position seemed wrong. Anyway. So at least it does work. That's further than I've gotten before in terms of having reevaluatable functions. Now, this doesn't work across module boundaries yet, but that's something we can add. And if I am smart about how I do the reloading, I could probably get pretty far without having redefinitions across boundaries, or needing it, I guess, for now. But it would be nice to separate the REPL from the logs from the game. It would be nice if I could put them in another buffer, potentially, because this is a little bit annoying having the REPL polluted with the log output, or just the regular print output from the game. All right, let's think for a second. What else do I want to do to sort of call this working for now and start using it? And because I wanted to do the interactive evaluation stuff today, I didn't really think about what I wanted to do on the game. So we'll have to think about that a little bit. Let's put the player back to their original color here. I bet if I run this now, it will work. Oh, it didn't. That's really weird. Undefined variable reading. What did it run? Because all this output has been getting written to the comment buffer, I think that comment got confused and thought this was input. So you definitely don't want random input being written to the REPL buffer. I think of the best way to separate those. I mean, first of all, I need to get rid of a lot of this noise here. So we can go into player, delete this whole landed thing. What else am I displaying in this buffer? Yeah, I think that was it. Okay. Ah, I didn't mean to do that. Unexpected expression value. I think I'm not coping well with having an empty input. Okay, yeah, that's mainly what it is. All right. So now that we're back in the game without all the noise, let's think what we could do game-wise, and something we could use the new interactive evaluation capabilities for. So let's look at the to-do list we had and see what else maybe we need to think about. Upward collision detection, I'm not so worried about that right now. Font rendering when we draw map tiles, that's a whole other set of problems. Rendering and picking up stones in the appropriate screens. That sounds like the thing to do. To make this a game, to actually have it be what we intended it to be, we need to have the ability to pick up stones and bring them back to the location where they must be brought. And then dropping off stones back at the main screen. So if we want to complete this game jam tomorrow with an actual working game at a very, very, very basic level, because obviously this is just garbage, prototype looking code, we need to have it work. So what I'm thinking is we should have this right here is sort of like the altar of sorts, where you bring the stones back whenever you found them somewhere in the world. So you would have to go navigate around and figure that out. We did come up with the locations of where those stones should be last time. If I go back to the placing the stones section. So for this area we're in right now, which is called the peaceful zone, it would be screen 5.1. And if I open up GIMP, you can see the world design we came up with for that. If I open recent, go to world layout. So this is the peaceful zone here where we're currently at. And 5.1 would be this square. And the idea is that you would have to sort of navigate around a little bit through the scenes to be able to find that. That does require that we get portals going down to work also, which we didn't do last time, but maybe we can try to do right now. So let's see. To make a portal going down, where would we want to put that? Probably not here. So if we want to make it a little bit interesting to get to this particular screen, and we're starting at 3.1, this is sort of the starting area, then maybe you would go to the right screen, go down, and then across and up. So maybe you need to go this route to get there. So on the screen to the left, we need to make a portal going down. And on this screen, we need to make a portal going right. So that'd be sort of like a little underground type thing, but a very sort of surface level underground, if that makes any sense. So we can do that live in the game. Let's just walk over to this screen here. And we could have a portal going down around this section. So if I hit tab to go into edit mode, press 0 to clear the tile to be drawn, I can start clearing off some stuff here. And we could have like a portal here to go down to the screen below. I'm gonna press Control S to save. Let me make sure that it actually did save. Where is it? Where is the REPL? Okay, it wrote the file, so at least we saved it. Okay, it says, wow, cool level editing system. Thank you. Yeah, we did that, I don't know, maybe a week or two ago. All right. So we can't actually go down yet, and we can't edit portals in the editor yet. We can only just place tiles. So what we're gonna have to do is go into the text file for this screen. Now I keep pressing things. Clear that, and then, well, actually, maybe I do want that there. And then press Control S, press Tab to get out of edit mode now. Now I can jump on these. So, that was interesting. Oh, haha. There's the upward collision bug where you can sort of jump through walls. That's nice. Anyway, I need to set a portal here so that when they drop down, it takes them to the screen below. And we have not added that yet. So let's close the game out. And just to sort of show you that it will run again, I will run the game again and go over to the screen, and that level data should still be there. So we still have that pathway down. Ignore the memory leak. It's because of my port management. All right. So I need to go into... I need a way to reload screens too. Maybe I should do that. Because I would want to edit them on the disk and then try them in real time. So let's take a look at that really quick. I'm going to go into the game code. Modules, stones, game, save. Save screen. Okay, so editor key handler. State editing, input key down, input event. Why wasn't control working? Huh. All right, let's do a nested if here. Hopefully it doesn't break things. We were having some trouble with the language at some point. So if equal. Come on now. All right, cool. If equal blah, 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 code S. That's great. Then we're going to do this begin block. Otherwise, we need to check another if. We don't have a cond yet in the language because I need to have macros, and I'm still working on that. Right here, this is going to be an if equal. Also, should probably just have like a list of bindings and just roll through those, but we'll do this for now. Input event key code. Input event. Input key code R for reload, I guess you could say. Then reload screen, reload current screen. I could have a function for that, I think. Okay. And I'll do that. Have a function here, define reload current screen, and load screen is somewhere, load screen. Yeah, let's just take this whole set. Whoa. Oh, hey. Okay, there we go. I think that should work. Screen, load screen, string append, string assets, screen name, current screen. Okay. That should reload the current screen. So if we make edits, we should be able to do that. Also, we should probably display reloading screen. Okay. Screen path. I need a print function. I keep saying that. Okay, so now reload current screen should do the right thing. We can test that out really quickly if I run mesh again. All right. And if I hit edit mode and control R, undefined variable screen. All right. Kate says, "Is your display function standard? If it is, that's wrong. The second argument is support." No, it's not standard. There's a lot of stuff I need to do to get all this stuff fixed up. Oh, you're right. I screwed that up. Thank you for pointing that out. That was a mistake on my part. I keep switching languages all day long. So, get a little confused sometimes. Okay, we have screen path. Yes, you know what? A print or format function, it would be really easy to write. I just haven't done it yet, but I was really tempted to do it yesterday. I just didn't get to it. And I don't think that's what we want to do on stream right now, so. It crashed because screen was not set. Where did I say screen? Set screen? Current screen. That's true. That's true. That's not a real variable. Okay, now tab for edit mode, control R. Okay, it reloaded the screen file. Good. In fact, I don't even need this print because it tells me it's reading screen file. So let's just leave that as the thing that it prints out. Let's also try to put this back in. I wonder if the control modifier is going to work if I do it now, because it wasn't working for some other dumb reason before. But modifier control input event. Yeah, let's do it that way. Okay, now we'll run mesh again, and then tab control S. Okay, good. Control R. Great. So now I want to go to the asset files, assets, screens, piece 2.1, I believe is a screen for that. And we need a portal that goes down. We also need to be able to move to the level that's below this. Now I need to think of a good way to do that. Because you can't actually navigate to another file right now. Well, now that we have the REPL, I could potentially have a function that would enable us to do that. So maybe we can try that. Because not only do we need to edit the screen where we need to add the portal, we also need to edit the one below. Like if I were to go just walk off the cliff right now, I just disappear. So there needs to be a portal here, but there also needs to be a matching portal on the other side. So maybe I can add a function to do that from the REPL. I should have just kept the game running. Let's do that. Let's run the game. And inside the REPL, I'm going to say module enter stones game. And we are in the module now. So if we go into the game module, I could set, or let's see. I could have a set current screen, I think. Current screen. We already have reload current screen. We could have a set current screen. So define set current screen. Screen name. And we'll just do the same thing, basically. And I can use Control-Alt-X. Oh, I didn't eval. Undefined variable mode. Okay, yeah, all this output that ends up getting in the way. I've told it to delete that, but it's not actually working. All these displays need to go to some kind of output file for this to be viable. Let's try this anyway. Because we have that file. So we have the function now. And in this, I could say, same thing, module enter stones game. And then set current screen. Piece, what it would be, 2-2. And I'm there. So, oh, the screen, whatever this is, file path didn't update, but I bet money is because I didn't actually fix that file. So let's go check that file out. Actually, I can use project find file to do this. So, whoa, too many windows open. Piece 2.2. Yep, it says piece 3.1. So I'm going to change this file to say 2.2. I'm going to go over here and put it in edit mode and do Control R. Oh, yeah, it thinks it's in the wrong place. So let's run this one more time. Yeah, okay, so now it says 2.2 correctly. Cool, so at least we do know that we can change screens. So let's say piece 2.1. I also need to set the player position correctly. So right here, this is, I'm looking at the mouse position up here in the top left-hand corner of the screen. This is X8, X9, and the Y is 22. So inside of 2-1, if I go down and have a portal for down, I need to edit the format and say that I have 3 portals now. And let's see. I think it's this set of lines I need to paste. The portal is going to be called down. The location. What is it that? Okay. Oh, is it the direction? Okay. Maybe that's what it is. So this is going to be, what is the location? We'll call it 9. 9 and 22. I have such a primitive format for this level file because I can't actually read in forms as data from a file, which is something that could probably be done really easily now. I just haven't added it. Or I can't write them. I think that's what the problem is. To fix all the writing functions. I might be able to try and do that. It would be really nice if these were S expressions and not this format, because this is a real headache to deal with. Anyway, I digress. The portal direction needs to be set, and I don't remember. Let's see. Let's go to screen.msc. Direction down is 3. Okay. So we have portal direction down. The screen that it will go to is piece 2.2, and the portal name on that side will be up. So I'll copy this. I'll go back to piece 2-2. For its portals, I'm going to have 3 portals here, and I'm going to paste this one here. It's going to be a portal called up, and it's going to be at location 9, 0, let's call it. And that's going to be 2 because it's a portal that goes up. I think is right. Yep, 2. And then it matches with portal that called down at the other screen. Oh, we also have to set the target screen correctly. Where are we? This is 2.2. This goes to 2.1. All right. So in 2.1, it goes down to 2.2. In 2.2, it goes up to 2.1. And I don't know if that's actually going to work yet, but we're going to find out in just a moment. So let's reload this screen. We are in editing mode now. Control R. Now I should be able to walk over here. I don't know if this is going to work because I've never tested down portals yet, but let's see. Yeah, it didn't do anything. So let's check the code for our portals. Collision. Where are we doing portal collision? Is it with player? Maybe it's in player. Find activated portal. Okay. Interesting. Find activated portal. Let's check top and bottom when velocity X is. Yeah, I haven't added the Y's yet. So let's try that. So if we have velocity, excuse me, velocity Y greater than 0. Screen portal at position. Yeah, we got to flip this now. This is going to be left X and bottom Y, and right X and bottom Y. portal direction down. This might actually make it work. Same thing for up. Let's see, if less than 0 velocity y, this will be top y and top y. Whoops, top y, okay. This is gonna be up on both of these. So we're basically looking for, in that movement direction, is there a portal that actually is a portal that goes in that direction? Hopefully this will work. Should probably set the start screen where it needs to be. So let's see if we can drop to that portal. All right, and then we're just gonna hit right there. Oh, didn't do anything. I wonder why not. Oh, is it because I have the ands? Oh, no, it's a bunch of ors. Left X, top Y. So find activated portal. Let's see if it's actually finding something and just not navigating correctly. Do I have the debug? Or was it print? There we go. It's right here. Let's just steal that. Put in here. Okay. And right here is debug. My keyboard is ghosting. Wow. Okay, let's not do that. Yeah, it would be better here instead, actually. I'm gonna put it on that. And take off the wrapped parens. Okay. Oops. All right, so now we don't have all the spew. We should see a portal thing come up here because we did find a portal. And then I hope we see one here, but I don't think we do. Maybe I put it in the wrong place. This says it's 922. Maybe it needs to be something else. Hold on. Okay, that's 00. So that's what I expect to see. I need to be drawing out markers where the portals are too. That'd probably be helpful. All right, so 922. Let's see. I don't know if this Y logic is actually working correctly. Let me see where I'm calling this. Find activated portal. Left X, right X, top Y. Oh, is flipped. Smart, real smart. Okay. That's probably part of the issue. Okay. Still doesn't show up. Question is, why not? Let's see, velocity Y. Did I actually load the velocity Y correctly? Okay, looks like it. Also the top Y, player Y divided by tile size. Player Y divided by tiles. Player Y plus player size divided by tile size. Yeah, that's right. Player velocity X, player velocity Y. All the values should be right based on what I see here. could take this code out now. I don't know why I still have this here. Oh, I think I'm wrong, right? Top should be first. I don't know what I'm thinking. And then top Y, bottom Y. Top Y, bottom Y, top Y, bottom Y. Okay. Screen portal is positioned left X or right X. And that's going up. Same thing for going down. Left X, right X, bottom Y, portal direction down. So did I just happen to put things in wrong? Is that what happened here? Let me fix some indentation. I think it's all jacked up here. Okay. Let's go back to piece 2.2. Oh, no, I'm sorry, piece 2.1. 2.1 is the one that we're in at that point. So the third portal is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so down 922. We saw that position. That should be the right place. The portal direction is 3, which is down. Goes to piece 2.2 to match the portal up. This should have been enough, I think, to get triggered. So maybe screen portal at position. Let's check out screen portal at position. Make sure I didn't miss anything. So it loops over all the portals. It looks the XY position, portal X, portal Y on the portal that's checking, or not direction. I guess if I put in nil. Otherwise, the direction needs to equal the portal direction of the portal, which should be a constant value. Left, right, up, down. Okay, so that should be right. And the find, what was it called? Activated, what? Oh, other file. Activated portal. This is one big OR. I guess the question is, is something going wrong with the language where these steps don't get triggered? I guess what I could do is write something out right here. So debug I don't know what it's going to give us, but we'll give it a try anyway. Now when I'm jumping, it probably will print some stuff. Oh, not printing anything. That's not a good sign, actually. Because it should be printing here in this and. Oh, actually the debug. What is debug doing? Okay, it returns the result of whatever is happening there. But it's not even printing it, so it's not even getting here. If velocity y is less than 0 or is greater than 0. What if I move this up to be the first clause? This should be printing stuff constantly, I think. So that tells me something else is wrong. What if I do the same thing for vel x debug left? Actually, we don't want the colon there. Interesting. Didn't write left until it hit a portal. Huh. And where is this getting triggered? Left X. It's really weird. So that's just running all the time. And that's after calling find activated portal. So find activated portal. We know there's going to be cases where velocity y is non-zero. So I don't know why even the left one is not being printed every time we're moving left, because we already have. We know it's velocity x is less than 0 in that case, but it seems to only get printed. Oh, hold on. Am I printing a new line after the debug statement? Yeah, okay, so it should be getting flushed. That's weird. It only shows up there. What about right? Oh, I didn't put one for right. Let's do that. I don't want this to be a huge waste of time, so. Yeah, so in neither case. What if I move the debug? Meta V? Nope. No. Okay, that's not what I want to do. Oh, this needs to be around the and. Never mind. What the hell? Let's try this. Oh. All right. Yeah, that's a lot of spew. So weird, man. It should be printing something out here, I think. Maybe it's some problem with the way that the code's being executed. Whatever. All right, let's just think about how else we can debug this. Okay. So velocity y greater than 0, velocity y less than 0. What we saw is that at least these logic paths here do get triggered. Let's move the y and see what we see from that. Whoops, that was not intentional. So strange. Display X. Let's see. Let's call it left X. And then, come on. Lisp is giving me trouble again. Why? This will be bottom Y. This is going to be a lot of spew output. That's okay. just want to see what X and Y position we're reporting as I'm walking around. So I saw 822 and 922. Should I say right X? I know it's a little bit redundant here, but I'm just curious what this is looking like. $9.22. So it should have hit it. Let me just step through this logic again one more time. If, whoops, let's move this back where it belongs also. All right, so if velocity Y is greater than 0, or if screen portal at position for left X, bottom Y, so the bottom of the player hitting a portal at the left side, and the portal is direction down, you know, maybe I can make this false for now, so that we're not checking the portal direction, just in case somehow that's a problem. I don't know exactly what the deal is here, but let's run it again. Yeah, didn't even hit that. So, all right, let's write out velocity Y and see what that says. Display vel Y. Oops, let's run mesh. All right, so 0. Yeah, I mean, this is what I would expect to see with velocity numbers. We see some positive and some negative. And by the time we get to this point, there's positive velocity. So velocity Y is greater than 0. Screen portal at position, left X, bottom Y, F. I wonder if it's even getting hit. Hey, thanks a lot, Kates. Nice to see you here. Hopefully I see you next time. So, let's see. I need to check what's going on in screen portal at position. So maybe that's the next place to look. Screen portal at position. So I guess really I should clarify what we're trying to get to right now. We want to be able to move between all types of screens in the game, even going up and down between screens, so that we can start to make this path to at least make the first zone of the game coherent enough that we could pick up an item and bring it back to the drop-off location like we're supposed to with the concept of this game. We're getting there. I think by the end of tomorrow's stream, we will have a full loop of how the game is supposed to work with just one zone. I don't think we're going to be able to create a second zone. I mean, we could try really fast to create the other zones, just like really, really fast. But I don't know. Maybe we'll see how far we can get. Okay. Now I want to debug this function. So for portals, screen portals, on the current screen, we're looping over the portal list. I could write, so if direction, portal direction down, then I could write out the, excuse me, the X and Y details. Yeah, I do want to do that because I want to see if this path is getting triggered at all. And first, let's go back here and put this back in. Get rid of that false. Get rid of that. All right, now I can say display X. I really need a format function. Display X, display, come on. Okay, so that should give me, oh, I need to put all this in a begin also. That'll give me a little bit of a readout on what we're looking at. I just find it really weird that it's not triggering constantly. And I jumped off the screen, apparently. This should be getting triggered constantly as we're moving. Down. Like, I should be seeing this constantly. So why else would it be a problem? Direction. I wonder if when we read the direction in, we're doing something wrong. Oh, also these create screen things, we don't need these anymore. Take these out because they're just clogging stuff up. Also the start screen, we'll get rid of that too because we don't need this anymore. Screen portal add. I don't use that anymore either. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so write portals, portal direction, car portals, number to string, that should be fine. Then read portals, string to number, read line port. So we have, we're constantly the portal with the existing portals list, that's fine. So when we read the screen, or load the screen, come on. I want to loop over the portals. Where are we here? It's inside the let body, cool. So let loop. I just do a map. Yeah, let's do this. Lambda, portal direction, and we're just going to display that, right? Portal direction of P. And this would be screen, portals, screen. So what I want to do is just see what they look like. Display, portals. This may not help us very much, but oops, let's go unmesh. Okay, 1, 0, that makes sense. What about on this side? 1, 0, 3. So we do have a down portal. This makes me wonder why we're not seeing any prints. Whoa, what? That was weird. I'm getting closer to this portal, and all of a sudden it starts printing things. Why is it doing that? Okay, this is really strange. Only part of the time is it printing things out. Unless it's like buffering the data, the output. Something's very weird. So this we know now. Screen portal at position. If direction is portal direction down. All right, so this is only being printed whenever screen portal at position is being called with the direction being down, and it's inconsistent. So something is wrong with how screen portal at position is getting called. This should be getting called all the time. Find activated portal. There's nothing that should prevent it unless this function's too big and for whatever reason it only runs half the time. I just don't know why it's consistent for moving left and right and not up and down. So find activated portal. Okay, so check player collisions. I'm considering the possibility of splitting this into another function just in case for whatever reason it's not working. You know what? Let's do this. I think we did this once before, but I'm just going to do it one more time to make sure that I'm not crazy. Yeah, it's constantly being called. Okay, that's what it should be. Let's try, oh, wait a second, hold on. I wonder if one of these logic branches is returning early? Is that possible? This is a big OR. So if velocity x is less than 0, it won't return true unless this is also true. Maybe with a really complicated and or like this, I'm not patching the code correctly for all the jumps inside the VM. Because I don't know if I've had one this complicated before. Let's do this. This might be a thing that we could try. If not equal vel y 0. This is going to seem really weird. But at this point, I'm willing to try anything just to make some progress. So if it's not equal to 0, then we're going to do a little OR here. I mean, and if is doing patching also, so maybe this is not the best idea. I'll delete that one and drop it here. Okay. Otherwise, I can drop the X path as the else of the if. I don't know. This is kind of wacky, but let's see what it does. Oh, I'm getting more reliable triggering now. Okay. Yeah, this seems to be working. I don't know why that helped. Let's see if I can trigger the portal. Oh, it worked. Awesome. So, here, 9, that's where the portal happens. So what I'm going to do is drop a platform. Not there. Let's drop the platform right about here. Yeah, that's cool. Okay. So now I'm going to save this buffer, or save the screen. And then I also need a way to like place the character somewhere. That'd be pretty cool if I could just like click somewhere and it would put the character. Sure, I could implement that. Can I change direction while following? Yes, I can change direction while following. All right, so now I'm running again. Let me go to the REPL and put in set current screen piece to 1. Okay, it's crashed because of all the output, I think. Oh, set current screen. I'm not in the right module. Can you change direction while falling left or right? Yes. So I think I can see what you mean. What you're saying is that how do I prioritize which portal that I hit? And maybe I'm being a little bit too specific about which type of portal that I'm looking for. Yeah, that's actually true. So maybe I need to not even look for direction, just look for whichever portal that I'm touching. I think I did that though on purpose so that it doesn't trigger when I'm moving in a direction that I don't want it to trigger when I'm walking right in a portal that's meant to go left, because I don't want it to flip-flop. So, I don't know. This is not very solid logic. I need to come up with a better approach for this, for sure. All right, so let's see. I'll just restart it, and then we'll see if we can drop down to that little platform that I added. So then I drop down, boom, cool. So now I'm on this little platform here. How would I want this to proceed, I wonder? So this might be a little underground area, so maybe we can start painting some tiles out. Be a good trick to fall into a dead pit so the player could change his or her fall direction. Yeah. All right, so we're just gonna paint out some blocking. Maybe make it a little more maze-like. I need a way to fill a region with tiles. Let me save this before I get too far. 'Cause who knows, it could crash at any time. Garbage collector hits and I got a garbage collection bug. Yeah. These things are known to have happened. Let's see. Maybe I could set it up so that right click will place the character at any given position in the map so that I can test moving around. I'm just sort of sketching things out. I need to make it so that when you hold the mouse button down, it will paint, and so I don't have to keep clicking. You don't see me clicking, but I'm clicking furiously so that all the tiles will be placed down correctly. That could save me a lot of time. So I'll press save, and I'll start walking around. Oh, and one thing I didn't do actually is, I can't actually reach that again. Back to edit mode. Let's draw a tile there so that the player can actually get up. So I'll save one last time, and I'll try to jump. Boom. Hey, we're actually able to go up and down now. That's great. Look at that. So now, let's make sure that the player can only go in the one square, because I don't want them to miss the target. So it should look like that, I think. Save that. Then jump down here. Maybe this should also be controlled, so I can put a little thing like that, maybe. Cool. I wonder if I can jump. Oh, whoops. Missed the jump by the end. Is the jump up collision fixed? No, it's not fixed. I mean, the jump up works. Like I can jump to the next screen, but that's all that happens right now. Let me make sure this is saved. I'll exit the game. For the mouse, I would like right-clicking at some location to put the player position there. So let's add that really quickly. I'm feeling pretty good about the progress right now. Let's take this out too. We don't need this anymore. Okay. We do this weird if check because the y-axis checks were not working reliably before. Back in game.msc, mouse handler. So input event mouse button down. Kind of need to implement painting correctly too. So I need to know the state of the mouse. Define paint button down. False. So let's go right over here. Put that there. Tracks whether left mouse button is held down in edit mode. Okay, so mouse. Mouse handler. Okay, so input event mouse button down. I think I should specialize this a little bit further. So here, if we're equal to left button, then set paint paint button down, paint button down. Okay. Okay. If equal input event mouse button. I probably should just set that let button input event mouse button input event because this is just ridiculous. Okay. Yeah, sure, that's fine. Take the and out. If equal button, that's way better. If equal button input mouse button right, then set the player position. So begin player. Yeah, here we go. We really need a function for this. No. All right, so player X set. Where is player? Is it a global? Yeah, unfortunately. Hello star. Yes, I know how to code in HTML. So player X set, player X, we'll say, what is it? Mouse X, screen to world. Oof. Yeah, let, no. Still begin. Screen to world. Whatever. Mouse X. Let map position screen tile set. So we're already doing the same thing. Maybe. All right, let's do this. This is better. Let's put this up here. Okay, mouse X, mouse Y. Then we can take this whole let out, which is nice. All right. I'm sorry, I can't provide technical support while I'm live coding on my own project. I wish I could, but you have to understand. So mouse X, it's not mouse X in this case. It's going to be car map position times tile size. Actually, we don't need tile size at all. It's just that because this is I'm sorry. Screen to world. Ah, we need the times. Okay, let's do that. Cooter map position tile size. Okay. All right, set paint button down T equal button input blah blah blah. Okay, so that should set the player position. set the player position on right mouse click. All right, and then this needs to be changed. All right, so mouse button down, if equal, button mouse left, set paint button down. If equal mouse button right, set the player position. I don't know why I'm putting T here. Oh, yeah, if I handle the event, I need to return T. Okay. Then for this path, then for the next path, mouse button down. This is if it was left or right. If the mouse button wasn't down though, I need to check for up. Am I at the right place to do that? Yeah. So if input event mouse button up, input event also, and equal button input mouse button left, then I need to set paint button down to false. And also begin set paint button down and then return a true from here, because that's sort of what we're using in our code to indicate that the event was handled. Every path should have a T at the end. Otherwise, the whole function returns false. So that seems okay. But now the tiles don't get painted anymore. I need to paint as long as the mouse is being held down. So editor mouse handler, editor input handlers. That's in the handle game input event. I suppose I could just throw it up there. It's not the right place to do that, like editing game state, but it could be done. If paint button down. Okay, yeah, that's a little bit cheesy. Also, whenever we toggle the edit mode, if equal state editing, running, set paint button down to false, just to make sure we don't paint afterward. Okay, so now turn on editing. I click the mouse and hold it, and now I can paint. Then I let it go and it stops painting. I click and hold. That's way, way better. Okay, cool. And now I've painted all this, right? Right click the player up here. Boom, boom, boom. Nice. So he will drop with physics. Now I can press tab and then jump around from up there. So that makes things a lot faster. I might be able to spec out areas a lot faster that way. That's pretty cool. Okay. Now if I leave the screen, come back, it's going to be gone because I didn't save it. That's fine because I didn't intend to save it. So if I go back to this screen, All right. Now I can hit tab and then just start painting all the way through all this stuff. Let's just paint all that. Now my life became much easier. Interesting that it rotated over to this side. Save it. Let's see. Maybe drop a little thing here. Put the player there where they can kind of jump around. I don't think they can... Oh, yeah. They get stuck in the ceiling. That's fantastic. I need to fix that. For sure. Let's save it. Okay. Then I'm going to... Whoops. Don't do that. I'll exit the game. Okay, was it 4:43? All right, we got, about 10, 15 minutes to play around a little bit more. We really need to fix that up collision, though, if I'm going to have corridors like the one that we're seeing right now. Let's see if there's anything that I can commit, because I don't want to be sitting around with this code. It's that editor key handler. That's for saving. All right, so we got the mouse painting and player movement. Add mouse button behavior for fast painting and player position set. Okay, also, maybe reload current screen can be done in terms of this other function that we have here, set current screen. So reload current screen. We can say set current screen, screen name current screen, and then get rid of that reload function. I mean, I guess, I don't know. That's not so bad to have. Let's put that back. The reason why I would have that is so that you could use it in the REPL. So let's just do what I did there. Set current screen. Use the screen name here. And then delete this whole block. Okay. Make it possible to reload, set and reload screens from the REPL. This can also go away now. Delete unneeded screen setup functions. Let's delete these two lines. Make vertical portals work. And we'll put that in that previous commit also. So I'll push these changes. Okay, so we pushed that stuff. That's cool. Did I do anything inside of mesh? Yeah, okay, some of the stuff here. All right, I need to make this commit also. So we're gonna commit this one. Compiler VM set. Let's see. Sets module of current closure. Then also mesh Emacs, add, what do I want to say here? Add custom REPL commands for mesh eval defun. more work on Geyser integration, not done yet. Whoa. Okay, we can push that too. And Substratic, we didn't change anything. Pretty sure. Okay, that's all good. Cool. So, what about the README? What tasks do we have today? Yeah, so what we were going to do is rendering and picking up stones on the appropriate screens. I think that will happen tomorrow because we now have what we need to sort of at least build out some of the regions in the game. Placing stones to be picked up in various places, that's going to have to happen from hard-coded locations, I think, and we'll just have to figure out how to render those. But I think tomorrow's stream will be dedicated completely to just getting an end-to-end run of the game working. Let's just flesh out all the locations in this first zone, get an item that you can pick up and bring back, and then call the game done from that perspective. I don't think I'll actually submit this to the competition because there's really no point. Nobody can really play it because I don't have it posted anywhere. And it's not easy to make a build that someone else can use. I mean, it's possible, but I don't want to try to saddle someone with that burden. So we'll just get it done, and then I'll take some time before the next Ludum Dare in April and really polish all this stuff so that when we come back for that competition, things are going to be much more interesting because we'll have fully live coded interactions and much better tooling for doing editing of game content. There's gonna be a lot of stuff that I think is gonna be a lot of fun to use whenever we get there. So I'm looking forward to that. I think I'll stop a little bit early today because I don't want to get started on anything new right now. But thank you all who joined today. I really appreciate the folks who stuck around and contributed to the conversation, especially you, Alejandro, for being here the whole time, I think. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow, same time. It'll be 11 a.m. UTC. It's 1 p.m. my time, Eastern European daylight. No, Eastern European time. I don't know what it is. Anyway, but 11 a.m. UTC is when we'll be back on this. We'll do another stream for 4 hours, and that will be the last one for the GitHub GameOff for this year. Probably won't do it again. 1 month is way too long, but anyway, that is what it is. So once again, thanks, folks. Hope you have a great evening, and we'll see you tomorrow. So until then, keep creative. See ya.